The soundtrack in this movie was phenomenal. I didn't really know what to say for the intro, so we'll go with that. The soundtrack is really phenomenal. I'm John Hayeck, and welcome to my movie thoughts. Love Simon. So this is a new movie directed by Greg Berlanti, the guy that brought us The Flash on CW, Arrow on CW, Riverdale on CW, I think Jane the Virgin on CW, and this movie kind of feels CW-ish in the best way possible. But this movie stars Nick Robinson, Catherine Langford, Alexandra Shipp, Jennifer Garner, amongst others, and it centers on Nick Robinson's character. It's one of those coming-of-age high school movies with a romance in it that admittedly I'm a sucker for, but this movie has a bit of a hitch because this is the first mainstream, big-budgeted Hollywood movie that centers on teenagers to have a gay character as its lead. Nick Robinson plays a guy named Simon, hence the title character in the movie, and he starts anonymously chatting with this other person in his high school online, and that both of them are keeping a secret that they are gay. Their parents don't know, their friends don't know, they just are completely shut out from letting anybody else know, and over the course of the movie, you're trying to guess who this person is that Simon's chatting with as he develops feelings for this person, and you also see Simon trying to keep his secret and see how eventually it must come out, and how he eventually must tell his friends and his family, and kind of how it impacts him, and how it really is going to make his life a little bit easier going forward. And I will tell you guys, I thought this was just a nice movie overall. I thought it was very charming, very delightful. It had its heart in the right place, and it felt sincere. Again, I'm a sucker for these high school type of movies with the romances and everything. Perks of Being a Wallflower, Edge of 17, Lady Bird. I love all of them. I really feel like they are just an amazing and underrated genre. In the 2010s, we're really shifting towards a more genre-based high school movie that is dramatic and just charming, whereas the ones back in the 80s, 90s were these like goofy comedies kind of. So I'm glad that we are shifting towards that because we really can have these serious conversations both from our society and from teenagers' points of view that kind of like intersect. And I think that's great because teenagers do deal with a lot of adult issues in their own lives. In this movie, for instance, you can feel like Nick Robinson's character Simon is holding a lot back because he feels the cultural pressure of like, alright, I need to come out to my parents and my friends, but I don't really know how to, I don't really know when to. It's a very like kind of awkward thing because I don't know how my parents are going to react to it, I don't know how my friends are going to react to it, and you can see the pressure in Nick Robinson's acting. I think he pulls off the role really well in this case as somebody who, you know, recognizes who he is but isn't sure how the world is going to react to who he is. So again, awesome job done by Nick Robinson in this film. I think his family was good as well. The parents were kind of goofy. I'll get back to them in a little bit. His sister was very quirky and likable as well, and his friend group just stole the movie from me. We knew Catherine Langford was a great actress from 13 Reasons Why. She's amazing in this film as well as the best friend role. Alexandra Shipp is probably my favorite supporting role in the entire movie, and she was really cool and very well developed as a character. I'm forgetting the name of the third friend in their policy, but he was also very funny and very cool in offering comic relief. I don't usually talk about the flaws until like the very end of my reviews of positive movies, but I will tell you guys I did have two problems with the movie that kind of do tend to happen more towards the beginning of the film, and that's the first 10 to 20 minutes I felt like were very, very odd and very, very awkward. I think that the parents and the principal in the movie, basically any adult in the movie, is trying way too hard to be like the kids in the movie. One of the problems on CW shows, and this might be where Greg Berlanti picks it up from, is that the parents feel like they're very involved in their kids' life, in the kids' lives, sorry about that, because if plot lines all intersect and everything. Like in Gossip Girl, you see how like the parents' storylines intersect with the kids' storylines, and in Riverdale, some of the things the parents are doing interfere with what the kids are doing and stuff. And it seems like Greg Berlanti saw teen movies and recognizes, alright, either the parents aren't involved in their kids' lives whatsoever, or they're kind of like, you know, punishing their kids all the time and everything. So let's make the parents like these hip, fun, like characters that are like interacting with their kids all the time, making jokes that parents wouldn't usually make to kids in real life, and just make it seem like it's a good time. And when the parents and the principal in the movie were joking around with the kids, the interactions between adult and kids just felt very awkward. It felt like something that I personally haven't experienced. Because usually you understand, like, oh, the adults you're supposed to have kind of like a more respectful relationship with. There's some things that like would make it awkward if you talk about them with your parents, and this movie feels like it kind of neglects that. I will say the first 10 to 20 minutes also do suffer from being a little bit tonally mixed, because in some places it feels like it's trying to be this, you know, very sweet and sincere romantic comedy, which it does come into being for the rest of the movie. But in some places it's also trying to be like a snappy John Green adaptation, where it's trying to throw in a bunch of these pop culture references and a bunch of these like interesting things about the characters that you don't really need, because over the course of the movie you figure out more of those things naturally from characters talking to one another, or just from plot points in the movie that bring things out of those characters. You don't need to summarize the entire movie in the first 20 minutes, or even introduce you to every character in their entirety in the first 20 minutes. And for that reason, I do feel like the first 20 minutes of the movie turned me off a bit, but I will say, a plot point happens in the movie about 15 to 20 minutes in, and I'm like, is this gonna work? And it just propelled the entire entire movie forward. I feel like it wasn't only hilarious, but it made the entire thing just come into focus and see like what these characters really, who they are, what they believe in, what they're willing to do, and it just made me, again, connect with the movie a bit more. Seeing Simon go through his journey for the rest of the film really was just, it was touching to me. I thought that it was a very well executed story of somebody who's falling in love and the trials and tribulations that come with falling in love, and not to mention if you're gay, how difficult that must be, again, telling your parents, telling your friends, just getting kind of out there in the community and everything, and trying to recognize who you are, and just feeling like the world might not accept you for that. It really is something that not only speaks to the gay community, but also to the teenage population that's going to see this movie. I feel like Love, Simon's a very well executed movie with really good dialogue for the majority of it, with really great supporting performances and great supporting characters, with a solid lead, and with a plot that overall by the end just makes you think, yeah, I do believe in love. I thought this was just really nice. Again, I had issues with the parent characters, with really all the adults in general, and those first 20 minutes feeling a bit awkward, but I do think overall Love, Simon is absolutely worth you guys going out to see. I'm going to give Love, Simon a B. Be sure to let me know all of your guys' thoughts on Love, Simon in the comment section down below. You guys can go over to mymoviethoughts.com, follow me on Twitter at Hayeck, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for tons more posts from me. Links to all three of those are in the description down below as well. You guys can also like this video, comment on it, share it with some friends. I am John Hayeck. As always, thank you guys so much for watching.